start off with a clean bucket and fill about a third of the way up with boiling water from my Burko, which is on a timer plug. One of these big buckets will feed 6 calves. So I have my boiling water ready, and I use Blossom Easy Mix because I found that it's the best one for us and we get the best growth rates with it. And then I fill this bowl up. This is already pre-weighed, so I know that the powder in the bowl is enough to feed 6 calves. Then mix it in with the boiling water. If you don't use hot water, it goes very clumpy and doesn't mix properly. I then top up with cold water from the hose until it's the right temperature. I like it quite warm, especially as it's winter time. I have my clean buckets here, ready for the milk to go in. Each calf gets between 2.5 and 3 litres of hot milk twice a day. I then make up 3 of them have bottles because we never got them on the bucket, which is fine. So I make sure I fill the bottles up. So we only have 7 calves at the moment that are still on milk twice a day. This is one that has a bottle. So I put his bottle into the hay feeder. Well, straw feeder. We always feed straw. So he can drink his milk from there. As you can see, these drink from their buckets really well. This is another one that has a bottle. He's quite happy drinking his milk there. He's now having his second bottle. So again, each calf has around 2.5 to 3 litres twice a day, and then when they're being weaned they go down to once a day. They have their milk and water in the same bucket, so their water milk buckets get washed out 4 times a day, so they're always very, very clean. So their next job is to pick up the weaned calves' water buckets on the trolley. This can then be wheeled outside and they all get washed out with the hose on the trolley, which makes it a lot easier, and they'll get filled up to the top, so they've got plenty of milk for the rest of the day, water for the rest of the day. So the trolley was made to fit the buckets to make them easier to wash out. It gets wheeled outside. Once the buckets are all clean, they then get filled up. The ones that are on twice a day milk only get half a bucket of water because they don't need it, but the weaned calves get a full bucket, and these get cleaned out every morning. The milk water buckets get cleaned out 4 times a day, and the bottles are all cleaned out ready for later on. So my next job after everything's filled up, so I always have my bale of straw in the shed, so it's always at hand. I then bed everybody up, which I've not done yet. After everybody is bedded up, I then fill up the hay racks with fresh straw, and then they get their calf pellets put in their buckets. We use just normal calf rearing pellets. We buy it in a pallet. and that's where the blossom milk powder is kept as well. So all these calves have been weaned. They've been dehorned, castrated, had their pneumonia vaccines, etc. These were specially made bucket holders that fit calf buckets in, which my boyfriend designed and made. So it's very easy to just slot the buckets in, and the buckets don't get too bashed about or pooed in because they're on that outside of their pens. This is where I keep my medication and my book, which has everything in, how much they cost when we bought them, any medication that was given, vaccines, and I always put a batch code and expiry date just in case I lose the boxes, but everything gets written in my book. Also in here I keep my new needles, all different sizes, new syringes, Alamycin, adrenocane, which is a local anaesthetic for dehorning, Resflor for pneumonia, pen and strep for any bacterial infections, and Metacam. Also in here is a lot of digital thermometers, which I would not be without. These are absolute lifesavers. Down here, there's just empty vaccine containers, but this is what the pneumonia vaccines look like when you mix them up. Purple spray, castration rings, the applicator for putting the castration rings on, and then down here I have old needles, which will be disposed of properly, and a head torch, and then our dehorner, which is just a normal burner. I like to keep everything in here because I know where everything is, and up here I keep first aid, bandages, dressings, just in case I need them. So as I've said, my boiler's now filled up. It runs on a timer plug, so I can set the times it comes on, so when I come up my water is already hot and ready to use. My radio, I keep the radio on during the day. It helps keep them quiet. They seem to like having background noise on. I say my milk, and then after everybody's bedded up, I fill up their straw racks, put their water in, and then I sweep up this whole yard, because I like it to be absolutely spotless in here. This is one of my calf rugs, which has been washed, so it's just drying out. And this is a calf rug I actually made myself. Cost me £1 to make. It's a dog blanket, Sherpa fleece dog blanket. I bought the clips and the webbing from eBay, and I made them myself. I say for £1 each. They have a belly strap and they work amazing. So that is our routine at the moment. They're all vaccinated against pneumonia, have all been dehorned, as I said. This week they were deloused and wormed, so they're all nice and settled and growing well.